exec, el Vele, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 161 of the Exec Talk podcast. I am your host, Evelez Wasa. All right, I know that it's a Wednesday. I know that you guys are getting this on a Thursday morning. Yeah, just been getting out of late at work, looking for a sofa. So we went to IKEA yesterday. So, just this week, life has got to kind of, traffic is bad, okay? If you live in South Florida, you know what I'm talking about. Traffic is awful. But anyway, we still got good football that happened this weekend. Possibly Josh Allen, cinching up the MVP. Travis Hunter, of course, he wins the Heisman. That's what we were expecting. I said it probably, 3-4 weeks ago that he was the Heisman. I said it after the Baylor game that he's probably going to win it. So I've been on that bandwagon all year. I said that if Genty doesn't break the Barry Sanders record, and even if he would have broke it, Barry did it in 11 games. And that doesn't count the bowl game where he put another 300. So it's like 3,600, 3,800 that Barry's record actually is. But I'm happy that Travis won. There's nobody that has done what he's done before. Play, 1,400 snaps, both sides of the ball, averaging 130 snaps a game, averaging, damn near over 100 yards per game receiving, almost averaging a touchdown a game because he had 14. They didn't even play 14 games. He had touchdowns with 3, with 2. Games with 3 and 2. Having 4 picks. People not even throwing to him because they're like, he's the best. I don't want to even attempt that. And with all that, and I think more impressive than the Heisman, because it's like he had it so synced up, was the fact that, like I said, when he got, snubbed for the Jim Thorpe consideration for the best cornerback in the country, or the best DB in the country, which I think either Caleb Downs won or Will Johnson from Michigan won, which, if you're not going to have Travis Hunter, Will Johnson is the best, I believe is the best DB in college football. But he wins the Ben Eric Award for the best defensive player of the year. He wins AP Player of the Year, Associated Press. And then on top of that, he wins the Biletnikoff Award for the best receiver. So, it was just hate that they didn't give him the Jim Thorpe Award. It was just hate. But I'm proud of him. I can't wait to see him at the next level. Now, right now, as it stands, he's going to go to the Patriots. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that he goes, if somebody trades up to go get him. I could see like a Denver. I could see maybe a Chargers. Somebody that needs, I could even somehow, some way see a Chiefs try to go get him. I just hope he does not go to the Patriots. Like, he would waste the first 4 years of his career there. Even if he has Drake May, if he goes to the Patriots. I think Shador's going number 1, and I think he's going to the Raiders. I don't know what's going to happen with the coaching situation. I don't know if they're going to keep Antonio Pierce. It is a disaster over there. They were part of one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life this past Monday, which we're going to get into. But, shout out to Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. In other news, MLB news, Cody Bellinger goes from the Cubs to the Yankees, trying to fill the void left by Juan Soto going to the Mets. They added Max Fried to shore up the starting rotation. They added Devin Williams to shore up the end of the bullpen. And now they added Cody Bellinger to add another left-handed power bat that is only entering his, age 29 season and can still be. I think there's that MVP 2019 Cody in him, and I think with the short porch, he's going to have a lot more home runs that he had at Wrigley. But if the Yankees, they say they're not done. With those three guys, they basically spent $60 million for next year. I don't think the Steinbrenner, especially after getting to the World Series, I don't think he cares about the luxury tax, to be honest. They're so full of money, especially those teams at the top, the Dodgers, Padres, Mets. The people with a lot of money and plenty of money to spend. I don't think they care about that luxury tax. But they're gonna add something else. They might add a Bregman. That'd be pretty legit if they add a Bregman. But they would have to switch him to like second or switch Jazz to second. And then if they get Bregman, put him at third. But that throws off the whole thing. Right now they need a first baseman. But with Cody being able to play the whole outfield and first base, if they need to, Jazz being able to play third, second, short, outfield, it gives them flexibility if they do want to have the alien out there, the Martian, Jason Dominguez in center. Aaron Judge, people are thinking he's going to go back to right field just so he can save his legs. Or left field. One of the two. It might be left. I could have sworn it was right. And then maybe Cody in center because he's a really good defender. But I think overall what they're going to be missing and what you're going to see this season, yes, Max Fried is going to be good. So is Garrett Cole. We'll see if Carlos Rodon has another good year. Hill builds off of his good rookie season, his rookie of the year campaign. But you need to have a lineup to match up against the other AL teams. And not even the AL teams, because we're thinking about World Series. So you need something to match up against the Padres. You need something to match up against the Dodgers, against the Mets. And right now, we're not there yet. I don't know if they'll go aggressively towards a Christian Walker, a Paul Goldschmidt, or anything like that. But I would like them to, if they want to keep being as relevant as they are, especially in the World Series chase. Another big move, Kyle Tucker goes to the Cubs, so basically a replacement for Cody Bellinger. MVP type of level talent, it's going to be their best player. Do I like the move? No. Was it time to move on from the Astros? I don't think so. He was arguably their best player behind Jordan. Best overall player because Jordan is not much in the field. Best hitter is Jordan on their team, but best overall player was Kyle Tucker. He was having an MVP type season last year before I believe, an oblique injury. Took him out for like 2-3 months. I think he's going to do well at the Cubs. The Cubs don't have much, though, as if you look at the total package of their team. Yeah, you got Shota. You have some things here and there. Justin Steele. But, like, I'm looking at that roster, and it's literally Cody Bellinger, and that's kind of it. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, can he have a really good sophomore season? We'll see. And then the last thing that came down the pipe was that Nolan Arenado vetoed a trade to the Astros. Very interesting. Especially knowing that Nolan at his age would want a championship. Astros would give him that chance. But he vetoed the trade. So that's not happening. So now the Astros have to pivot and try to sign Alex. Because if they don't, then they're going to have a problem now losing Kyle Tucker, Alex. Now you're just Jordan and Jose Altuve and Jeremy Pena and pray. At that point, you got to make some moves, maybe bringing a Teoscar Hernandez or, look for something to supplement those two losses, which are huge. Those are guys that were on your championship teams, especially Bregman being there for both rings. I think it's very, very difficult to replace two players of that caliber. One, maybe. Two, no chance. So that's for baseball. As for basketball, the NBA Cup is over. It was won by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis was the MVP. They beat OKC. They went 6-0. Darvin Ham was on the staff. He has not lost any NBA in-season tournament game since last year being at the Lakers and winning it, where he also went undefeated. I think that the Bucks have started to figure it out with Giannis and Dame. It's a much more fluid offense, less janky, less hero ball, a lot more passing. I like what they're doing with Ajax, Andre Jackson, the second-year player out of UConn. I just like what they're doing with their team. Brook Lopez is playing well. AJ Green is turning into that Kyle Korver-ish type of player, or a Grayson Allen type of three-taker, JJ Redick-ish. You could look at Pritchard at the Boston type. Brook Lopez is playing well along Giannis. Damian looks way more comfortable being himself, scoring 25, can go off in the fourth if he needs to. There's space on the floor for him. There's no more conflicts with picks or like rolling. Giannis is being his MVP self, looking for his third MVP. And him and Jokic are on different levels right now when it comes to like their MVP discussion. But yeah, the Bucks won. They kind of pulled away at the end. It was a close game at halftime, 51-50. Third quarter, Bucks really clamped down, held them to 14 points. They scored 24, really defensive. It was a really defensive second half. It ended, I believe, 98-71. The game did, so very defensive, turnovers, really, really hard defense. It was a playoff atmosphere type of game, and Giannis deserved to win it, and the Bucks did really well. Doc Rivers is coaching his ass off, and they're doing really well. You guys are going to get an episode tomorrow because I'm going to do another one. This is to recap what happened this past week. I don't want to make it too long. So I'm going to get you your predictions tomorrow when I get home from work before the Thursday night game. I'm going to do my week. This would be week 16 predictions. So we're almost there. We're almost done. Stuff is getting clinched. There's only certain scenarios left. A lot of people are eliminated. The draft order is getting set up. We're starting to really see who's going to come to the cream of the crop, who are your dark horses. So it's an exciting time, and we also have college football playoff this weekend. Stacked weekend of games starting Friday. You have 3 college football playoff games on Saturday, along with 3 NFL games. Then you have a full slate of Sunday, along with some college football playoff games as well. No, 1 Friday and 3 on Saturday. Then you have a slate of football on Sunday, Monday Night Football. Then you have bowl games or maybe the semifinals of college football. Actually, no, the semifinals are the New Year's Six bowls. Then you have football again on Christmas Day on Netflix, 3 games on there, or 2 games. And then we roll on to week 17 with Thursday Night Football. So it's a lot of football coming up. It's going to be exciting. We're getting to the fever pitch of the season where seeding gets locked in, division winners get locked in, your matchups in the playoffs get locked in, and we get ready to roll to go after the Lombardi. So really excited. So let's get to it. The first game was 49ers-Rams. The Rams won. I picked the 49ers. We went pretty good this week. We only got 4 wrong. We got the Chargers wrong, the Lions wrong, Panthers wrong, and 49ers wrong. Everything else we went great. So we went 12-4 because all the bye weeks are done. So pretty good. You know, our record for the year is definitely over in the positives. 49ers were offensively inept. They had no Trent Williams. It was a bad field overall. Of course, no CMC. They tried to get the ball to Debo. Didn't work. He dropped basically go-ahead, like walk-in touchdown on a slant. I don't know what's going on with Debo. It might be time for him to go, even though they just paid him. Brock Purdy doesn't look himself now that he doesn't have Brandon Ayuk. He doesn't have Trent Williams, doesn't have CMC. You're starting to see him, you know, just hoping and praying that Jawan Jennings and George Kittle, like, save him. And, you know, they were offensively inept on both sides. They had the weather. They dropped good balls from, you know, Debo dropped some good balls in the first half. And then it's Stafford with some big plays in the fourth quarter. He hit Puka to seal the win because Brock Purdy comes on the next drive trying to go down and possibly score to make it close and possibly, you know, have a chance to win. He throws an interception with 5 minutes left, and then they were driving, and then he throws a seam. He throws a seam on the right side, a go ball, throws it bad, just a bad interception in the end zone while driving to try to take the lead, and that basically ended the game. If we look to the box score, right now box scores are not really what's important. Right now, it's what's happening in the games. You know, I feel like box scores just kind of breaks down the games in a way where it's just too numerical, but I mean, the game was 12-6, guys. I mean, this wasn't really anything. Wasn't anything that great. 2 defenses that played well. A young defense in the Rams and a well veteran oil machine of the 49ers. They gave them their licks and everything like that. But, you know, Stafford went 16 for 27 for 160. It was bad weather, like I said. You know, no touchdowns. Kyron Williams went 29 for 108, so he kept them alive. Puka went 7 for 97. Nobody else even cracked 25 yards receiving. You know, they had 3 sacks coming from 2 from Kobe Turner, 1 from Christian Rosenboom. Darius Williams caught the pick that basically sealed the game. On the 49ers side, this thing is over. I don't think they don't have no more shot because how I would say not Arizona because of how the Rams are playing now. They're 8-6, top of the division. You know, there's no way for them to catch up because they still have the Seahawks in front of them and they have Arizona in front of them. Purdy went 14 for 31, atrocious, 142, a pick, no touchdowns. Garendo went 16 for 57. Kittle went 4 for 61. I mean, just no offense, essentially. It was not exciting at all. They got 0 sacks from the defense. Just really, really unfortunate for them that they had to go out that way. But I think the Rams were a better team. They have a better quarterback, better receivers at this point. They had the 49ers had to hold their end on defense. They tried, but eventually it's going to crack, and it did, and that's it. Ravens beat the Giants. We don't have to really get into this. Lamar threw 5 touchdowns. Looked great. Baltimore looks like they're supposed to. New York is keeping to spiral down the way to try to get Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, whichever pops up when they're up on the draft. Right now, they're second in the draft order. As for Lamar's stuff, we got 21 of 25, super efficient, 290, 5 touchdowns, no picks, a 154.6 rating. So almost another perfect rating for him. Derrick Henry didn't do much, 14 carries for 67 yards. I mean, Lamar himself went 6 for 65. Rashad Bateman went 3 catches for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justice Hill caught a touchdown. Zay Flowers didn't catch a touchdown. He went 6 for 53. Mark Andrews broke Jamal Lewis's record for 47 touchdowns that were tied at. He caught his 48th. Becomes the all-time leading touchdown receiver for touchdown scorer in Ravens history, in their short history since like 97, I believe they were inaugurated. When they drafted Jonathan Ogden, or 96. Fumble by Lamar that got lost didn't mean anything. The defense got 3 sacks, one by Malik Harrison, another one by Kyle Van Noy, and David Ojabo, Michigan product. Darius Washington caught a pick. I mean, this is 35-14, guys. This thing, I mean, there was no competition really. Tim Boyle went 12 for 24, 123 for the Giants, a touchdown and a pick. Then you had Tommy DeVito go 10 for 13. Tracy went 10 for 31 on the ground, nothing. Devin Singletary 8 for 25, nothing. Malik Neighbors 10 for 82, another 10 reception game for him. I think he he tied the record with OBJ with how many 10 catch games as a rookie. He got a touchdown on 14 targets. Nobody else cracked 40 yards. Wando went 4 for 38. Adoree Jackson recovered a fumble. They got 3 sacks, one from Dane Belton. Yeah, Dane Belton. Micah McFadden got one. And Brian Burns, the other sack. No picks. Just a beatdown. What the Ravens were supposed to do in order to keep up with the Pittsburgh Steelers to still have a shot to win the AFC North. Jets Jaguars was a beautiful game at the end. The first half was atrocious. But the second half was all Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Aaron Rodgers goes 16 of 30 for 289, 198 of those in the second half to Davante Adams on 10 catches. 3 touchdowns, 2 to Davante, a rating of 120. He ran the ball for 45 yards, really surprising from Aaron to do that. Breece Hall did nothing. He went 9 for 30. They can't run the ball anymore. Davante went 9 for 198, all in the second half. 2 touchdowns, along of 71. Outran some young kids. You got 12 targets. Garrett Wilson went 3 for 56 and a touchdown on 6 targets, and that was pretty much it. The defense got 2 sacks. One by Javon Kinlaw and the other one by Solomon Thomas, 2 former San Francisco 49ers. Jalen Mills caught a pick, and then Sauce Gardner caught the pick that basically ended the game. I mean, this means nothing. Jaguars went Mac Jones, 31 of 46. He threw the ball 46 times. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. ETN went 14 of 65. They couldn't run the ball for shit. Brian Thomas Jr. went 10 catches for 105 and 2 touchdowns, so that kid keeps showing out. Brendan Strange went 11 for 73, the tight end, on 12 targets, which is nice to see. Everybody else was, Parker Washington with 3 for 54, Devin Duvernay 3 for 42. Nothing crazy. Other than that, they got 1 sack, that being from Jeremiah Ledbetter. No picks. They're done. Both of these teams are done. We're talking about probably top 5-ish draft picks, especially for the Jaguars. They're 3-11. So definitely a team that might be looking at Travis Hunter. If by some miracle the Patriots win one more game in their season, but right now it's, I believe, Raiders, Giants, Patriots. That's your top three as of right now. And that would suck because that means Travis Hunter is going after the first two quarterbacks. Cowboys, Panthers. We picked the Panthers on this. Thought that we're going to play better. Cowboys defense played well. Micah played well. Cooper Rush came. Well, Cooper Cush is what they call him. But Cooper Rush went 18 for 29, 214, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Probably his best game played this season by far. Rico Dowdle, another 100-yard rushing day, 25 for 149. Really, really nice running for him. CD went 9 for 116 and a touchdown on 13 targets. Really good day for him. Nobody else cracked 40 yards. So he was basically the offense. The other touchdown scorers were Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks, so both Jalen's. Cooper Rush fumbled twice, lost one, recovered another. Then you have 6 sacks by that Dallas defense. Finally, they show up. Chauncey Golson got 1. You got Micah with 2. Ozigazua got 1. Jordan Lewis got 1 on a blitz. And Carl Lawson got 1 also on a blitz. They got 2 picks, one by Israel Mukwamu, and then Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, caught 1. As for the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young went 19 for 28, 219, a touchdown, 2 picks, 6 sacks for 44 yards, QBR of 11.2, so back to atrociousness we go. Chuba Hubbard didn't have no room, 10 for 32 on the ground, absolutely abysmal. Jalen Coker on a big 83-yard touchdown pass from Bryce Young was the only guy to do something in this game, really. He caught 4 balls for 110 and a touchdown, 83 yards. So most of his yards came on that one play. Adam Thielen went 5 for 51, and everybody else was under 20. Bryce Young fumbled twice, lost the fumble twice. Their defense didn't do nothing. They gave him 1 sack by J.C. Horn on a blitz, and that was pretty much it. These two teams are also over with because of how Eagles and Commanders are kind of playing and their records. Dallas have no shot of getting back into the playoff race. So they should be eliminated here shortly, but they're basically done. There's nothing that they can do. Commanders Saints was a lot closer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little bit more of a blowout, especially with Jake Haener and not Derek Carr starting, and with all the injuries to their wide receivers. I mean, it's an ER for their weapons, but because of the Alvin Kamara and, just the Commanders not really capitalizing on offense as much as they should, or they should have. They ended 20-19. They switch Jake Haener for Spencer Rattler, the rookie out of South Carolina, originally of Oklahoma. So they go with him. He drives them down, has them a chance to win, scores the touchdown, gets it to 20-19. They're going for 2 and the win at home, and they go on an out route to Juwan Johnson. It's not there. Game over. Washington escapes 9-5, keeps the 7th seed in the NFC, and lives to fight towards the playoffs once more. The box score wasn't that really impressive. What was impressive, it was kind of Jaden. Jaden played pretty well. I mean, 25 of 31, super efficient, 226, 2 touchdowns. He took 8 sacks in this game. I mean, that offensive line just failed him. But they were only for 37 yards. You take 8 sacks within 37 yards, you're losing a yard, at most like 4 or 5 yards. You're not losing that 10 to 15 to 17 yards per sack. His rating was 118.5. He ran for 66 yards on 11 carries as well. Brian Robinson couldn't find a hole, 21 for 65, 3.1 yards a carry. Then They threw the ball 31 times, ran the ball 35, pretty good balance. Terry went 7 for 73 on 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown was incredible, running around the pocket. Jaden goes, almost slips. As soon as he almost slips, gets back up, gets his balance, and just zings it to Terry when he's running across the field. Yeah, he played well. You know, he made plays. Not much crazy offense. Zach Ertz, I believe, got hurt again. So we'll see what happens to him. Jaden also fumbled, but but somebody else recovered it. Jamie McNichols recovered it. And then their defense gave them 3 sacks. 1 by Deron Payne, 1 by Dorrance Armstrong, former Cowboy, and 1 by Jeremy Chin, the former Carolina Panther, on a blitz. And then Mike Sanders, the rookie from Michigan, national champion, he got a pick as well. As for the Saints, their season's over, obviously. 5-9. That shit's done. Their box score looked a little bit like this. 10 for 21 for Spencer Rattler. Jake Haener went 4 for 10 and 49 yards. Spencer Rattler got a touchdown, which is the one that I talked about that you basically try to tie to win the game. Kendry Miller went 9 for 46. Alvin got hurt after he made a beautiful catch one-handed to put the toe tap down wide open, but he caught it with one hand. Beautiful catch by a running back. He went 5 for 12, 2.5 yards a carry on the ground. That was nothing. MVS was their leading receiver, 2 for 64 on 7 targets, so it was sticky coverage. Alvin was the next leading receiver, 4 for 58. And the touchdown that I'm talking about, the one-handed. No fumbles. They got 8 sacks and lost. That's incredible to me. You got a sack by Demario Davis, a sack by Ugo Amadi, 2 sacks by Cameron Jordan, old reliable. Carl Granderson got a sack. 2 by Chase Young, former Ohio State standout, and number 1 pick. And then Willie Gay, former Kansas City Chief Super Bowl champion linebacker. He also got a sack. Of those 8, no picks, but Washington took care of business, which is what they should have done. After that, we got Chiefs-Browns 21-7. Actually, no. We have Bengals, Titans. Bengals couldn't really stop the run, but then 37-27, Titans couldn't stop Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Burrow went 26 for 37, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Was a really up and down game, but when he needed it, he played well. Chase Brown went 25 for 97 and a touchdown. Jamar went 9 for 94 on 11 targets, didn't catch a touchdown, so he's still stuck at 18. T. Higgins went 5 for 88 and a touchdown on 8 targets, so they were cooking. Gesicki went 3 for 37. Chase Brown caught a touchdown as well as ran one. In the balance was 26-37, so an 11 play spread from a run to pass. So it's a little bit more deviated than I would like, but you know they made it work because it's Joe Burrow. Burrow lost a fumble. Jordan Battle lost a fumble. They got 1 sack, and that came from B.J. Hill up the middle. They got 4 interceptions on Will Levis, though. Geno Stone got 1, ran it back for a touchdown. That was 39 yards. Cam Taylor-Britt got 1. Josh Newton got 1. Mike Hilton got 1. I mean, they were just picking that ball off all day long. Will Levis was absolutely atrocious, so much so that he got benched again for Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph went 21 for 26, 209, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Played decently well. Will Levis was just 8 for 12. Of those 8 pass attempts, 3 of them were picks. Just awful. Just awful. I mean, a QBR of 1.1, a rating of 49, just god awful. He's probably done. Might be done in football, to be honest, unfortunately. Tony Pollard went 17 for 45 on the ground and a touchdown. Tajay Spears went 4 for 5 and a touchdown. In the air, Tajay Spears was the leading receiver, 6 for 87 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Then you have Chig Okonkwo, 8 for 59 on 10 targets, and Calvin Ridley 3 for 41 on 5 targets. Josh Wiley caught a touchdown. He went 5 for 37 on 5 targets, so he caught all 5 of his targets. No Wick Westbrook-Akine touchdown this week, even though he tried to hit him, but just didn't happen. Tony Pollard lost the fumble. Will Levis lost the fumble. They got 1 sack coming from Harold Landry III. Daryl Worley caught a pick. Luke Gifford got a pick. But they're 3-11. They're also in the mix for that top 5 pick, depending on how the rest of the year goes. The Bengals are technically out. They're 6-8. Would need a miracle to get into the playoffs at this point. A lot of losing by a lot of good to semi-good teams that I don't think is going to happen. So, another year of Joe Burrow being amazing and nothing to show for it after the Super Bowl year. Chiefs-Browns, 21-7. The biggest thing about this game is Mahomes spraining his ankle, but guess what? He's practiced the last 2 days, so I'm pretty sure he'll play this upcoming week. Mahomes went 19 for 38, though, 159. Just didn't look himself. 2 touchdowns, no picks. But just getting pummeled and harassed all day. They moved Joe Tooney to the left tackle spot because DJ Humphries is hurt. And it went well and didn't go well at the same time. They put Carson Wentz in. He went 2 for 2 for 20 yards at the end of the game. Kareem Hunt went 13 for 45. Isaiah Pacheco went 13 for 32. They just couldn't run the ball on these people. Xavier Worthy ran it in from 21 to get a touchdown. He went 3 for 30 on 3 carries. Xavier Worthy was the leading receiver, but only 46 yards on 6 catches on 11 targets. DeAndre Hopkins was 5 for 36 on 6 targets. Kelsey went 4 for 27 on 8 targets. Just not a lot of production. 21 pass attempts to 21 completions to 40 pass attempts in total to 35. So it's only a 5 difference deviation between run and pass. Samaje Perine recovered a fumble. Drew Tranquil recovered a fumble. They sacked the Browns 5 times. George Karlaftis got 2. Charles Omenihu got 1 after he came back from the ACL. And then you got half by Drew Tranquil and half by Nick Bolton. Trayshawn Wharton got 1 as well. You have Jaden Hicks with a pick. Brian Cook with a pick. That was the last pick of the game. Nick Bolton with a pick and Trent McDuffie with a pick. His pick was nasty because he looked at the Jumbotron to know that the ball was coming and to know when to turn around. So that was pretty dope by him, just having an all-pro season. Again, Jameis Winston was 16 for 25, 146, three picks, no touchdowns. Then they put DTR. They announced DTR as the starter for this upcoming week. They're done with Jameis Winston. DTR threw a pick as well. He went 4 for 9 for 18 yards. Jerome Ford went 7 carries for 84 yards. Nick Chubb went 9 for 41. Jerome Ford got a touchdown, a long of 62. Took it off the right side. Jerry Jeudy went 11 for 108. Another great game by Jerry Jeudy with 14 targets. And then nobody else got more than 30. Jordan Akins having 3 for 30 on 4 targets. Everybody else had basically nothing. They threw the ball 25 times, ran the ball 21 times. 21-7. It's not like it was like the end of the world, but they just couldn't get anything done. Chubb lost the fumble, which was very rare. James Prochet lost the fumble. They got 0 sacks, even though Myles Garrett was harassing Mahomes all day long. No picks. Kansas City just keeps on rolling 13-1 towards that 1 seed. They cannot slip up, so Patrick Mahomes has to play. Hollywood Brown is going to play this week. I think that what I said last week about their offense opening up and stuff like that, I think once Hollywood Brown is in the offense with these next 2-3 weeks before the playoffs start, to get that connection gelling, and then you'll have a legit kind of 1 through 4 stack for the playoffs. Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, and Xavier Worthy with Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, D-Hop, and Kelsey, I think, is with Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield, I think is a legit offensive unit. Not having Rashee Rice, of course, hurts, but that, Hollywood Brown's addition should mitigate that a little bit. As for the Browns, also in line for a top 5 pick if they keep losing. They're 3-11. I would say go after a quarterback if they can. If they want to move up, go get Cam Ward. I don't think Shador is going to be there at all. They could go maybe after a Jalen Milroe. We haven't talked about him. Maybe a Dylan Gabriel, even though people don't think he's a first-round talent. But when people need quarterbacks, they get desperate. So we'll see what Cleveland does. Dolphins, Texans. CJ and the defense kind of sealed this. CJ didn't have his best game. He just did enough to win. Tua went 29 for 40, 196, a touchdown, 3 picks, 2 of them by Derek Stingley. The last one with 1:40-something left. Going to Tyreek for all 3 of these picks. And, basically Derek Stingley snatched it out of the air from Tyreek. Tyreek had it in his hands, could have put it away, but Derek Stingley just tore it away from him, showing the talent that he had at LSU and why he got picked 4th overall 2 years ago, above Sauce Gardner. Then you had Devon Achane, 12 for 41. We couldn't run the ball. 40-19 is the discrepancy between run and pass. Just absolutely atrocious. The game was 20-12, guys. It wasn't a blowout. Malik Washington was their leading receiver, 5 for 52 from the rookie. Tyreek Hill went 2 for 37. Johnny Smith caught a touchdown and went 9 for 48 on 11 targets. Jalen Waddle went 0 for 0 on 2 targets. That's awful. Tua lost a fumble as well, along with his 3 picks. Our defense got us 4 sacks. I didn't even see them, to be honest. They weren't impactful, but they kept them to 20. So I guess in some respects it was impactful. 1 by Anthony Walker Jr., 1.5 by Zach Sealer. Chop Robinson is showing out. 1.5 for him as well, the rookie out of Penn State. No picks. And then when we look at the Texans, it was just basically CJ and Nico Collins. Really nothing more. CJ went 18 for 26, 131, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Dario Abungawale went one carry for 35 yards and was the leading rusher for the Texans in the game. Joe Mixon went 12 for 23, 1.9 yards a carry, just abysmal. Threw the ball 26 times, ran the ball 20 times. Joe Mixon also caught 5 for 33, being the leading receiver on the team. Tank Dell went 2 for 26. Nico Collins caught 4 balls for 17 yards, but 2 of them were touchdowns. One was crazy. CJ rolls out, going towards the sideline, and just Nico flashes in front of him, right in front of the pylon, puts it on the money. CJ lost a fumble as well. When he got hit off a sack. The Texans got 3 sacks, half by To'o. Daniil Hunter got 1.5, and 1 by Will Anderson. Derek Stingley got 2 picks, and Kalen Bullock got a pick. 9-5. They win the division in back-to-back years. They cinched up the AFC South, which I told you they would once the other 3 teams were basically under 500. There was no way that the other teams were going to catch up. They clinch it once the Colts lose, which we're going to talk about. And now they have to prepare for the playoffs and get healthy, get their minds right. CJ to get playing back like he used to be. I know they don't have Stephon Diggs, but they have to. They're going to have a home game. They're going to have to win. I think it's going to be a Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon type of deal with the production and how they're going to score. And that defense is playing their ass off. So as long as that offense delivers, that defense can really take them places. Broncos, Colts, 31-13 Broncos. AR just erratic, 17 for 38, 172, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Jonathan Taylor, 22, 107. Anthony Richardson ran a touchdown, and he went 7 for 46 on the ground with a touchdown. And honestly, just wasn't in rhythm at all. Michael Pittman went 6 for 58 on 9 targets. Josh Downs were 3 for 32 on 8 targets. Like, he missed a lot of throws. Pittman lost a fumble. Jonathan Taylor lost a fumble. Anadai Mitchell lost a fumble. Their defense gave them 1 sack from DeForest Buckner. They got 3 picks, though. They got Nick Cross on a pick. Zaire Franklin got a pick. Samuel Womack III got a pick. But on the other side, the Broncos, Bo Nix went 20 for 33, 130, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. So rookie performance, I guess you could say, from Bo Nix. Was the leading rusher, 8 carries, 23 yards. They couldn't run the ball for shit. They ran it for 27 for 72 yards, 2.7 yards a carry. Absolute dog shit. Cortland Sutton, 3 for 32 and a touchdown on 9 targets. That was it. 32 yards was their leading receiver. A lot of incompletions in this game, a lot of good defense, a lot of bad decision-making by quarterbacks. Nick Benito got a pick 6, a beautiful one. They tried to trick play, throwing it to Adonai Mitchell to try to throw back to AR5. Nick Benito gets off the block while the ball's in the air on the comeback to AR5 and just picks it off and takes off. He has his second pick 6 of the year. He had one 2 weeks ago as well. You had 2 sacks by their defense. John Franklin Myers got half of one, and Dondrea Tillman got one. Nick Benito got half. Patrick Surtain got another pick. Brandon Jones got a pick. Their defense just kind of took over. They're 9-5. Keep that illustrious 7th place or 6th place, I think, in the AFC wildcard. They're playing well. They play with their defense. Bo Nix just manages the game and makes some plays when they're there. Got to give the Colts credit. They do have a good defense, but just AR5 just being inconsistent. They're going to have to figure out something or teach him or something, because 6-8 out of the playoffs. It just doesn't look good for a team that has a lot of talent. Patriots Cardinals. Cardinals win 30-17. This was another James Conner game. Drake May goes 19 for 23, 202, a touchdown and a pick. Ramondre Stevenson went 13 for 69 on the ground. Drake May ran one in. Kendrick Bourne was their leading receiver, 3 for 44. Demario Douglas fumble, but none of them lost it. I mean, there was 4 fumbles by 4 different Patriots, but none of them lost a fumble. Everybody got recovered. Their defense gave them 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. They're 3-11. They're currently 3rd in the draft order. Kyler Murray went 23 for 30, 224, no touchdowns, no picks. James Conner went 16 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. So he really dominated the game. Trey McBride went 9 for 87 on 10 targets. Greg Dortch 3 for 60 on 3 targets. Marvin Harrison Jr. 2 for 32 yards on 6 targets. I don't know what's happening there. They better figure that out if they want any chance in the playoffs, if they make it right now, because they're not leading the division. Who's leading the division is the Rams at this moment. 2 sacks by the defense. Baron Browning, former Bronco, and Darius Robinson got got sacks. Sean Murphy Bunting got a pick. Just an uninteresting game. They just ran the ball all over. Then we had another high-scoring game, which I said would happen, 48-42. Bills beat the Lions. Bills really dominated this game. We're up by 14 constantly. Anytime the Lions could try to answer, they would answer immediately. Josh Allen went 23 for 34, 362, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Rating of 122.4, QBR of 95.2. James Cook went 14 for 105. He was unstoppable and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen ran 2 touchdowns accounted for 4 touchdowns, ran for 11 and for 68 yards. They ran the ball 34 times for 198 yards, 5.8 yards a carry, and 4 touchdowns. They threw the ball 34 times, so 34 and 34, perfect balance. Their leading receiver was a running back, Ty Johnson, 5 for 114 on 5 targets. Then you had Keon Coleman with 1 reception for 64 yards. Dalton Kincaid 4 for 53. Khalil Shakir only went 6 for 39, but he caught a touchdown. Ray Davis went 2 for 14, caught a touchdown. Their defense gave them 3 sacks, one by Greg Rousseau, another one by Ed Oliver, and Christian Benford on a blitz got a sack. 48-52, man. This is a high scoring game. Jared Goff went 38 for 59. 59 throws is insane. 494. These teams accounted for almost 1,000 yards of offense. 5 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he played absolutely stellar, but Josh Allen just played better and just kept keep away. It started in the first quarter as soon as a 3-and-out happened for the Lions. Immediately, Josh Allen goes to score, and that's what started the snowball, and they can never catch up. Jameer went 8 for 31 and a touchdown. David Montgomery's out for the year with an MCL sprain, so that's unfortunate. So it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' job from now on, so the Sonic of the group as Knuckles is hurt. 15 for 48, could not run the ball worth a lick. That's why they had to throw 59 times. So 59 to 15 runs, 59 passes to 15 runs is absolutely not sustainable for success. Amon-Ra St. Brown went 14 receptions for 193 and a touchdown, a long of 66, where he ran away to make it a 7-point game on 18 targets. Laporta went 7 for 111 on 10 targets, so he finally shows up the form that he had last year. Jameer went 5 for 83 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Jameson Williams is the one that kind of dropped 3 for 37 on a touchdown on 5 targets. Tim Patrick caught one, a touchdown. Dank Skipper, they did a tackle eligible, and they scored on it. That was their first touchdown. Amon-Ra lost the fumble. That also hurt them too because they were driving. They got 0 sacks from their defense. They're just hurt. Aleem McNeil is fully outright lost now. Torn ACL. He's done. I believe Kirby Joseph got hurt as well, if I'm not mistaken. But they're losing people left and right. They're in ER as of right now on the defensive side of the ball. And now with David Montgomery, that's even worse. They didn't have no interceptions. They had no kick returns at all. It was just a bunch of touchbacks. Really entertaining game. Buffalo just showed that they have everything that they need to go to the Super Bowl and win. Just have to beat Kansas City in the playoffs, which they haven't done. 11-3, breathing down the necks of the Chiefs. The Chiefs cannot let up in that AFC to get that number 1 seed, so they have to keep it up, and Mahomes has to be good because 11-3, and they're charging. And I also want to say that with this win, I also want to piggyback off of what everybody else said after this game, that Josh Allen has finally synced up his MVP. He finally took one away from Lamar, took one away from Patrick, has his own MVP. He's a really big favorite right now. I don't think he's going to slow down at all. He's a unique specimen. When he came in, he threw out of Wyoming. He was 50% completion percentage. Now he's in the high 60s. The guy's electric, an electric runner, really powerful. It's basically like watching a more mobile, which is crazy to say because Ben was mobile back then, but he was just a tower of power. But more mobile and more athletic Ben Roethlisberger, same type of giant arm. Just really something that you can't explain and just a true unicorn of the sport. Buccaneers, Chargers. Didn't see this coming, but Baker has been playing pretty well. 40-17. They put it on the number one scoring offense in the league. Baker went 22 for 27, super efficient, 288, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 135.3 passer rating, beautiful. Bucky Irving, another 15 carries for 117 yards, really taking the lead back role in that backfield with Rachaad White and Sean Tucker. They ran the ball 39 times for 223 yards, 5.7 yards a pop. Only threw the ball 27 times, so they really ran the ball down the Chargers' throat. Mike Evans went 9 for 159, so he's still in line to get to that 1,000. He has to do a little bit more, but he can get there. The touchdowns were 2 long ones, 57 and like a 48-ish. Got behind the defense one, and then the other one he threw. Baker threw like a dot to him in the middle of the field, and he ran it in. Jalen McMillan went 5 for 75, best game as a pro and a touchdown. He caught the first touchdown of the game, wide open. Rachaad White lost the fumble, but it wasn't that much of a big deal. Their defense got him 3 sacks, 1.5 by Logan Hall, 1.5 by Lavonte David on 2 blitzes. Jamil Dean caught a pick. And then on the Chargers side, it's just there's no weapons on the outside to scare anybody from just pinning their ears back and just rushing. Justin Herbert went 21 for 33, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Gus Edwards went 8 for 23. They ran the ball 11 times for 32 yards, 2.9 yards a carry. They just couldn't do nothing. Ladd McConkey went 5 for 58 and a touchdown. Their next receiver was Stone Smart, 5 for 50 on 6 targets. Quentin Johnston went 5 for 45 and a touchdown on 10 targets. You had a fumble by Stone Smart, Darius Davis, but it got recovered. Their defense gave them 1 sack, 1 measly sack by Troy Dye. Tarheeb Steele caught another pick for the rookie. But yeah, they couldn't do nothing. Chargers are still in the hunt for the AFC wild card. As for the Buccaneers, they're now fully in control of that NFC South over the Falcons. If they went out, they get it. They're playing the best right now in that division. Baker's playing like his Oklahoma self. Mike Evans is being a monster. Bucky Irvin's being a monster. That defense is being crazy with Vita Vea. Super sound. Todd Bowles has his team clicking on all cylinders. Eagles, Steelers. We knew the Eagles were going to win, but they dominated 27-13. J.J. Watt's hurt. We don't know his status for this upcoming weekend. Neither do we know the status for George Pickens. But this game, what it showed is that the Steelers are nothing without George Pickens. Russell Wilson went 14 for 22, 128, a touchdown and no picks. Najee Harris couldn't run the ball with a lick. They ran the ball 17 times for 56 yards, passed the ball 22 times. They didn't have the ball at all. Eagles bled the clock and on every drive. Calvin Austin was the leading receiver, 5 for 65 on 5 targets. Freiermuth caught a touchdown, 3 for 22. Russell Wilson lost a fumble. Their defense gave him 3 sacks, 2 by TJ Watt, 1 by Alex Highsmith. And no picks. On the Philadelphia side, it wasn't a Saquon game. It was a Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith type of game. Jalen Hurts went 25 for 32, 290. 2 touchdowns, no picks, a passer rating of 125.3, so very nice. Saquon just went 19 for 65. He's still on pace, but he has to do now some big work to try to catch Eric Dickerson these last 2-3 games. Jalen Hurts ran 15 times for 45 yards and a touchdown, so he is definitely taking off more than usual. A.J. Brown went 8 receptions for 110 and a touchdown on 11 targets. Devontae Smith went 11 catches for 109 and a touchdown on 12 targets, just really dominated. I just liked what I saw from those two. If they keep it up, they're going to be very hard to beat. Jalen Hurts lost a fumble. Cooper DeJean lost a fumble. Their defense gave them 2 sacks, one by Josh Sweat and the other one by Nolan Jr., the rookie out of Georgia. No picks, just really good defense, holding the team to field goals, and then take advantage on the offensive end, drive, take long play drives, 10, 12 play drives, and that's that's the recipe. With no George Pickens, there's no explosive plays for Russell Wilson. That means that the Eagles were able to just kind of pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, and that's kind of what they did, and flustered, and just couldn't run the ball all game long. This game was pretty over early on, 13-17. Then they got 10-17. Then they got 13-17. Then they stayed at 13, and they scored another 10 points on top of that. The Eagles did 12-2, number 2 in the NFC. Waiting for are they still? Well, look, the standings as they stand for the playoffs are, Detroit's still first, but they're tied now. It's 12-2, 12-2. Detroit, with their massive injury bug that they have on the defensive side, is going to be very tough to close out the season. Eagles are the most complete team in the NFL, from defense to offense, weapons, corners, D-line. You name it, they got it. So Detroit cannot slip no more. I don't think they will, but they definitely cannot. Packers Seahawks, we knew the Packers were going to win. It was kind of you thought that they would be more competitive than what it was, but it was it was 14-0, 14-3, 17-3, 20-3, 23-6, and then 23-13, and then 30-13. So it wasn't that close. The box score: Jordan Love 20 for 27, pretty good. 229, 2 touchdowns, passer rating of 123.8. Josh Jacobs 26 for 94 yards. They just couldn't stop him. This was all about the run game. They ran the ball 34 times and passed 27 times. It was really the run game. He scored a touchdown. He was running for 33.6 yards a carry. Christian Watson was the leading receiver, 3 for 56 on 6 targets. Romeo Doubs got 2 touchdowns, 3 for 40, 2 touchdowns on 5 targets. Josh Jacobs lost a fumble, but it was inconsequential. 7 sacks by this Green Bay defense. Edrin Cooper, the rookie, got a sack. Kingsley Nagbry got 2 sacks. Rashawn Gary got a sack. Brenton Cox Jr. got a sack. Davante Wyatt, the former Georgia Bulldog, got a sack. Carl Brooks got a sack. Everybody, sacks galore for like 45. No, let me tell you guys right now for how long. 7 sacks for 45 yards. Geno got hurt at the end of the game with an ankle. Sam Howell took over. Then he got sacked 4 more times. Edrin Cooper, the rookie, got a pick. I think his first pick of the season, first pick of his career. Carrington Valentine caught a pick to basically end the game. As for the Seahawks, Geno went 15 for 19, 149, and then got hurt. No touchdowns and a pick. Then Sam Howell went 5 for 14 and a pick and no touchdowns. And he took 4 sacks for 21 yards. Geno took 3 sacks for 24. Excuse me. Zach Charbonnet didn't have as much success as last week. 8 for 54 and a touchdown. JSN went 10 for 83 on 12 targets. DK went 3 for 28 on 3 targets. Lockett caught 1 ball for 22 yards. Their defense gave them 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. They just couldn't do nothing. Green Bay controlling the clock with the run game and Josh Jacobs and kind of just put it to bed. 10-4 for the Green Bay Packers in the most competitive division in football, that being the NFC North. They still looking up at the Lions, and we're going to talk about the Vikings here in a second. Do I think that they are a Super Bowl contender? Not this year. I think they're still too young, especially in that defense. But I think that they're going to make some noise and probably knock somebody off. I don't think it'd be the Eagles or anything like that, but, I could definitely see them knocking somebody out. Probably like a Rams or a Buccaneers, even though I believe a Buccaneers can knock them out as well. And them having to go on the road, definitely, because they're not winning the division, is going to be very interesting. As for the Seahawks, they had their chance to really put a stamp on the NFC North and possibly like build their way into a division title, but now with Geno down and the Rams having passed them up, I think it's starting to look bleak, but I think a playoff berth is still in the cards. They just have to play really good these last few weeks. On Monday, we got Bears-Vikings. We're not going to talk about this game. It was literally the Bears suck so bad. Caleb Williams, 18 for 31, 1 touchdowns, no picks. DeAndre Swift ran for 79 yards. Keenan Allen went 6 for 82 and a touchdown. Caleb Williams lost a fumble. Their defense gave him 2 sacks, one by TJ Edwards, one by Chris Williams. They got 1 interception by Tyreek Stevenson. None of that mattered. It was 30-12. It was never really close. Sam Darnold went 24 for 40, 231, 1 touchdown and a pick. Aaron Jones went 18 for 86 on the ground and a touchdown. Cam Akers went 10 for 24 and a touchdown as well on the ground. Justin Jefferson went 7 for 73 and a touchdown. And Jordan Addison went 7 for 63 on 9 targets. TJ Hawkinson went 5 for 52 on 7 targets. They just didn't play as well as they should have. They should have blown this team out by like 25 or 30. But, a win's a win. It's at home. They're 12-2. Same record as the Lions. Now it's whoever loses and jumps into that spot with a win these upcoming weeks. As for sacks, you got 1 by Jonathan Grenard, 1 by Dallas Turner, the rookie out of Alabama, and that was it. No picks. Minnesota just kind of dominated this game. Chicago sucks. Fire the coach. Fire the interim coach. Fire your GM, even though I like Ryan Poles for selections. Burn this thing to the ground, to the studs, and rebuild it again, because this time do it right. Offensive line, D-line, and then go from there. But, yeah, this shit is awful. 4-10, probably going to be in the first 8 picks again. Who do they need? Offensive tackle. That's what they need. Offensive tackle, offensive guard, offensive line, anything. That's what they need. And then the most boring game, the poop bowl that we're going to talk about for 5 seconds, is Atlanta 15, Raiders 9, 7-7 Atlanta, trying to keep up with Tampa Bay, but they're not even close. This game was so bad that Kirk Cousins got benched for this upcoming week, and it will be Michael Penix starting for the Falcons. I think that'll be a very good boost. He has the arm, the mobility to throw it to Drake London, to throw it to Darnell Mooney, to throw it to Kyle Pitts, use Bijan Robinson the right way. So I think that they might be better this week than these past few weeks. The Raiders are the second team in the draft. They suck, point blank period. 11 for 17 for Kirk, 112, 1 touchdown and a pick. Bijan went 22 for 125, really just dominated the game. They ran the ball 37 times to passing 17, so they'd really just want to run the game and pound it. Receivers, Drake London went 3 for 53 and a touchdown, the only touchdown of the game. for the Falcons. The defense gave them 4 sacks. Caden Ellis got 1. Zach Harrison got 1. 2 by D'Angelo Malone. Justin Simmons got a pick. Jesse Bates got a pick. So the 2 stud safeties both got picks. For the Raiders, they put Desmond Ridder started. He went 23 for 39. 2 picks and a touchdown for 208. Desmond Ridder also was the leading rusher for the Raiders. He went 5 for 28. 5 carries for 28 yards. They ran the ball 22 times for 65 yards. Passed the ball 39 yards. 39 times. Jacoby Myers went 5 for 59 on 9 targets. Amir Abdullah went 7 for 58 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Alexander Madison lost a fumble. They got 3 sacks. Remember, no Mason Crosby, no Max Crosby no more. They got one from Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, and Tyree Wilson. They got a pick by Robert Spillane. But they suck 2-12. They're probably gonna pick Shedeur Sanders. They're number 1 on the list right now as the number 1 pick. So I think they're going Shedeur Sanders. It's them or the Giants, and either one is going for Shedeur Sanders unless Cam Ward blows them away in the combine or something, because Shedeur Sanders is slated to be the number 1 pick. That was Week 15. Really underwhelming in some parts, really good in others. But if we go to the standings, which is what we actually care about at this point, KC's in, Buffalo's in, Pittsburgh's in. KC and Buffalo both won their divisions. Pittsburgh is in. They're battling with Baltimore for the division. Houston won. Baltimore's the 5th seed. Denver's the 6th seed. And Chargers are the 7th seed. And that's it, because Indiana's at 6 and 8. They're not doing shit. Miami's out. On the NFC, you have Detroit still battling for the division crown with the Vikings. You have Philly still fighting for the division crown with the Commanders, so they haven't clinched divisions yet. Tampa Bay is on their way to clinching a division, but they haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. Neither has the Rams, and they're leaving the NFC West. But the Minnesota Vikings got a playoff spot. They just don't know which one, if it's going to be the 5th seed or the 2 seed. It might be the 1 seed, depending on how it finishes in Detroit and if they win their division or not. Green Bay, you at 10-4, also an AFC North representative at 6, can also have not clinched anything. And then you have Washington at 7 with Seattle, Atlanta, Arizona technically still in the mix at 7-7. But I think Seattle's going to stay in there and get that. I mean, Washington's going to stay in there and get that last spot. For stats, this week, nobody really exploded it there. Burrow's almost at 4,000 yards. He's at 39.77. Goff is right behind them. They have Geno, Baker, and Lamar. Saquon's at 1688. Derrick Henry's at 1474 on the ground. Then you have Jacobs at 1147. Kyron Williams at 121. And Bijan at 1,102, his first 1,000-yard season. Jamar Chase is at 1413 through the air. Justin Jefferson's at 1,243. CD's at 1,089. Amon-Ra's at 1,056. And Jerry Jeudy's at 1,052. First 1,000-yard season for Jerry Jeudy. Zaire Franklin still leads the league in tackles. Trey Hendrickson still leads the league by half a sack over Daniil Hunter at 12.5. And Xavier McKinney and Kirby Joseph still have the lead in interceptions at 7. As for the NBA, real quick, guys, the standings as they are now, Cleveland is still number 1, one game and a half above Boston. Then it starts dropping off, guys. That is going to be literally the 1-2. The 3rd spot, 2 through the, I want to say the 7th spot is covered by 2.5 games. You have tied at 3, basically. You have New York and Orlando at 6.5 back. You have Milwaukee at 8 back at the 5th spot. 6th spot, you have Miami at 8.5. Atlanta at 9 back. Then you get into the next tier. 11 games back is Indiana. Chicago at 11 games back. Detroit at 12 games back. Brooklyn at 12.5. Philly slowly crawling back in at 13.5 games back. So a game and a half back of the play-in. Charlotte's at 15.5. So they're kind of starting to fade. Toronto is at 16.5, and Washington is awful at 18.5 back. OKC is 3 games up on Memphis, which is a half game up on Houston, which is tied with Dallas at 4th place. So 3rd and 4th are tied at 3.5 games back. Then you go to Denver at 5.5 games back. Phoenix at 6 back. They're 6th spot. Minnesota's at 6 back. Golden State is at 6 back. Clippers are 6 back, and Lakers are 6.5 back. That is 6 through 10 by half a game. They're separated. San Antonio 7.5 back and 11. Sac is the 8 back, and then you have 12.5 back, 15 back, and 16 back in Utah and Portland and New Orleans. As for the stats, Giannis is at 33 a game. Jokic is at 31 a game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 30.3 a game. LaMelo at 30.2. He came back from injury. And Luka at 28.9, basically 29 a game, trying to get into that 30 threshold again. Nick Young is the only guy averaging double-digit assists technically. Jokic is at 9.9, so 10. But, Trae Young's at 12.1. LaMelo's at 4.6 threes made a game. Anthony Edwards at 4.3. Curry at 4.3. Hero at 4.2. And Peyton Pritchard at 3.9. Towns is leading the league in rebounding, 13.9. Jokic is right behind him, 13.3. Then you got Sabonis, Zubac, and Giannis at 11, at basically 12. Wemby is leading the league in blocks, 3.5 a game. Walker Kessler's at 2.8, right behind him. And then Brook Lopez at 2.1, tied with Miles Turner and Donovan Clingan. And Dyson Daniels still leads the league in steals, 3 a game over 2.1 by Doncic, Tyrese Maxey, J-Dub, and Tari Eason. Other than that, the bracket, the championship was 97-81. Like I said, Giannis won the MVP. Giannis had 26, 19, and 10, so he had a wonderful triple-double. Lillard had 23, 4, and 4, 5 for 10 from 3. Not much bench, production, but 23 from Lillard, 26 from Giannis, 13 from Brook Lopez. And like I said, it was really good defense. As for Oklahoma City, J-Dub got 18, Hartenstein got 16, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes for 21, 2 for 9 from 3. I mean, they were awful from 3, 5 for 32, 15.6% were the whole team of the OKC, so it was awful. No bench help, nothing. I mean, they scored 81 points. That's the second lowest mark this season. And that was 79. And they, just because Isaiah Joe hit a 3 at the end of the game, basically, they weren't at 78. And even then, they played good defense on the Bucks as well. 97 points the Bucks scored, but the Bucks played a lot better defense and scored timely buckets. But that's all for today, folks. Episode 161. I know I was a little tired. I know I'm a little late. I love you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for always being there. I love you guys. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one. And I leave you all with the outro. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and follow me on all my socials. I love you guys. God bless.